Okay, remember I said I was gonna do the video about the Battle of Bikini Bottom. But this ain't no SquarePants. Let's go.
Ancient underwater volcano in the Marshall Islands. With its necklace of 23 islands, Bakini is a place of beauty and silence and menace. Look closely where the Emerald Lagoon suddenly falls into a vast black hole. This is the crater of one of the greatest man-made explosions, the hydrogen bomb they call Bravo. It vaporized an entire island and poisoned almost everything and everyone.
What the heck?
As our plane flew low, we seemed to touch its deathly void.
Damn.
The Marshall Islands lie in the vast Pacific Ocean between the United States and Asia. Captured from the Japanese in World War II, they've long been America's strategic secret, its stepping stone to Asia and China. People here sustain themselves for thousands of years with abundant fish, breadfruit and coconuts. They were skilled navigators who sailed by the stars. Westerners might call this paradise.
We had everything we needed. There was a time when we would just visit other islands. Bring bundles of food, crabs, oysters.
All that changed in 1946 when the United States took over the Marshall Islands as a trust territory, with an obligation to protect the health and well-being of the people.
At Bikini Bottom.
A nightmare began. The islands were turned into a laboratory for the testing of nuclear weapons and the people into guinea pigs.
Crossroads, scene 24, take 2.
In this propaganda film, the Bakini Islanders are being deceived. Unknown to them, plans were already underway to destroy their paradise forever.
Will you ask King Judah that the United States government now wants to attempt to turn this great destructive force into something good for mankind, and that these experiments here at Bakini are the first step in that direction?
Live.
Tell him that's fine. Everything being in God's hands, it must be good.
87 ships take position 3 miles off Bakini to suffer the shattering impact of the 5th atomic bomb. Here will be
An armada of warships was assembled in Bakini Lagoon in order to blow them to bits.
The decks of the 73 test ships anchored in Bakini Lagoon are scenes of feverish activity as scientists plot experimental programs designed to furnish data on blast effects of the mighty atom bomb. Animals of many
Animals
kinds
were strapped to their decks like a perverse Noah's Ark. The experiment was to see how they died, how they burned.
That's sick.
Special ointments are applied to determine their protective quality. Other parts of the exposed areas being left bare to the atom blast.
3, 2, 1, taser.
These are sick.
Yo ki bongonin rani o me arro la
Early in the
kwa.
morning when the bomb fell,
Kami ki em gonga jaga ingin.
we were sleeping. We heard loud noises.
An tu pula pama.
I had to see what it was.
Em kamu ye yuru tongam lag rio tongan.
Didn't know what it was.
Ilu marungan
It
rana.
was dawn.
Kami iluan en was
Sky lit up in every color.
Kain color, all kain color.
Massive
En
rainbow.
iya kan merik pulu.
Green, yellow, red,
green,
blue.
yellow. Ido tereu ido menako. Ijab terengan pen.
We were all screaming.
Kakai vivi. Him chan.
Tried to hide my parents.
Ketiri
Hide my parents.
doan well. Ido cupongani ngam parte ko kairi kamjang ati bantaman
We were
namla ko jaga ini
terrified.
kan ko. Kamjang ilam nak
We thought
boleh
it must
ngor
be
patuan
another war.
pakai. Paino nanin ka kerjaro jaga cep nanin
End
ka
of the world.
enangan eno di.
Being on Bakini today is disturbing ghosts. I struggle through the jungle to the bunker where they pressed the button at 6:45 on the morning of the H-bomb test.
H-bomb.
Now claimed by the undergrowth, it's like a subterranean temple to modern times. They drank milk-made powdered milk, smoked Lucky Strike cigarettes, and later this sign was erected that's beyond irony. It says, "Please leave this property as you find it. Thank you for your kindness and understanding."
The Manzels give their all for their art, and you can just bet that audience is giving with the wolf calls.
The Bakini, named after the atomic explosion in the Pacific. The Bakini was an explosion everywhere.
In 1946, the Bakini swimsuit was launched to celebrate the nuclear explosions that had destroyed life on Bikini Island.
Wow.
The inventor of the bikini, a Frenchman, made his fortune.
Wow.
Today, a bikini body is promoted in magazines as an object of desire and good health. The bodies of the people of Bakini and other islands are the most irradiated in the world. All these women have had thyroid cancer.
Iwa kami ngalim tu ilu ay wilalim. Emlalo pinan mengo puta ko wandal tak. Inga lela pi.
When the dust started falling, we reached to catch the powder. It was like soap powder to wash our hair. Days later, my hair started falling out. Some people were in agony. Some kids went itching all over.
Today, Bikini is unfit for human life. Radiation poisons the food and water. Our shoes registered unsafe on a Geiger counter. The abandoned cemetery looks out to where the sun rose one morning, then rose again as apocalypse. The equivalent of one Hiroshima bomb was exploded in these islands every day for 12 years.
Damn.
A scarred beauty has returned to the island, but the people haven't. Exiled to barren islands, many of them starved. In 1968, President Lyndon Johnson told them it was safe to go home.
It wasn't.
But it wasn't safe, and the US authorities knew it wasn't safe.
What the Americans did was no accident. They came here and destroyed our land. They came here to test the effects of nuclear bombs on us. It was no accident.
What happened as a result of the Bravo test was that a cover-up was launched very shortly after March 1 I mean, there's such a history of wrong information, outright lies, deception. There was no attempt to take the most conservative approach and make sure that everybody was okay.
They knew where the radioactive fallout was going to go, and they took that risk and went ahead and detonated the bomb, knowing full well which way it was going to go. They still had an opportunity to evacuate, even on the day of the shot. But these people were not evacuated, we were not evacuated, and the people on Udrich were not evacuated. So it only leads one to believe that, number one, the United States needed some guinea pigs to study what the effects of radiation would do. And that's a pretty strong indication that the United States knew that.
It seems extraordinary. Here we are, this far into the 21st century, talking to people still frightened of all that nuclear fallout, all those tests, all those years ago. The impression I get is that there's so little trust among people.
The U.S. is trying to provide as much information, as much good information as we can. And so I wouldn't accept the characterization that there have been lies and cover-ups.
The word guinea pigs comes up a lot from these survivors.
I would refer you to our embassy website on that.
Website.
And that question was looked at during the Clinton administration, and that was not the conclusion they came to.
Wow.
The secret of the Marshall Islands is Project 4.1. Declassified documents reveal a scientific program that began as a study of mice and became a study of human beings exposed to radiation.
Wow.
Chicago is where it all began, and to the AEC Argonne Labs in Chicago last week came 7 men, natives of the Marshall Islands. Levin is from Udrich. He and the rest were irradiated by our March 1954 hydrogen bomb test. John is mayor of Rongelap, which is 100 miles from Bakini. John, as we said, is a savage, but a happy, amenable savage.
Wow.
His grandfather ran almost naked on his coral atoll. The white man brought money and religion and a market for his copra. John reads, knows about God, and is a pretty good mayor. The Iron Room is a radiation detector for human beings. Inside, John, the mayor, whose first visit to the white man's country meant San Francisco cable cars and Chicago skyscrapers and streamlined trains, whose first visit to the white man's country meant the Iron Room. A savage governs his life by ritual, and he understands this because he thinks of it as a new ritual, sitting alone inside the room. Outside, strange kind of priest in a long white coat. When the ritual of the Iron Room was over for John, it began for the others. As each finished, he was told it was over, and he was given apples and other good things to eat. Then he took off the ritual clothing, and the 7 men put on the suits and topcoats they had been lent in Hawaii, which they would return in Hawaii on their way back in the Marshall Islands, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
United States government documents clearly demonstrate that its scientists conducted human radiation experiments with Marshallese citizens. Some of our people were injected with or coerced to drink fluids laced with radiation. Other experimentation involved the purposeful and premature resettlement of people on islands highly contaminated by weapons tests to study how human beings absorb radiation from their foods and environment.
These people are guinea pigs. They are part of the experiment Project 4.1. They're being returned to Rongelap, an island 100 miles from Bakini, by the US Navy. They were told repeatedly it was safe to go home. This happy couple believed they were going home to safety. The man is John and Jane, the mayor of Rongelap, the happy savage from the Iron Room in Chicago. His wife is Majua, and this is their baby son, Lekoj. They had no idea of the horror that lay ahead. They are being returned to an island described by a US atomic energy official as by far the most contaminated place on Earth. He added, "It will be interesting to get a measure of human uptake when people live in a contaminated environment."
Wow.
The people of Rongelap remained on their poison island for 28 years as guinea pigs, the objects of regular scientific examination.
Wow. There was sickness all around us, and we didn't understand what cancer was. My mother also had thyroid cancer. They gave her drugs, but no surgery. My sister also got thyroid cancer. It wasn't an accident. They knew what they were doing. It was a secret project.
The islanders pleaded with the US authorities to move them to safety as evidence emerged that the second generation, the children, were also poisoned.
Dang. This is sick. This is sad, man. It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. This is hard to watch.
Desperate to leave, the islanders called on Greenpeace to rescue them. This ship, the Rainbow Warrior, moved the entire population to an uncontaminated island. They called it Operation Exodus.
That is a shame, bro.
This is Dr. Robert Connor, a leading medical scientist of Brookhaven National Laboratories. Connor devoted his distinguished career to examining the islanders.
Look what
He
they
wrote,
did.
"The habitation of these people on the island will afford the most valuable ecological radiation data on human beings.
This is messed
The various
up.
radioisotopes present
Okay, I'm
can
about
be
to cut
traced
this
from the
off.
soil
I'm about to cut
to
this
the
off.
food chain
Oh my
and
God.
into human beings. Dr. Conard gained the trust of whole communities. When he brought the islanders to New York to be examined, he showed them the sights and had them over for a barbecue. When John and Jane's son Lekoj died, aged 18, Dr. Conard sent the man they called a savage a sympathy card from your friend, Bob.
Wow.
In 1957, Majua Anjane was the smiling young woman seen here on her way back to Rongelap, unaware of the danger she and her family faced. This is Majua 28 years later, grieving the death of her son Lekoj from radiation poisoning.
They used him if he was an animal. They continuously punctured his body in the way you might cut up a chicken. He bled from the things they stuck him. He was like a laboratory animal. I saw this with my own eyes. Something that tore at my heart. I watched them treat him like a guinea pig. And this is what always on my mind. They destroyed my son. They used him. Like a worthless animal. That's all.
Like her son and her husband, Majua died from a virulent cancer. I don't see any great clinics that have been established by, if not the Department of Energy, certainly not by the U.S. government.
And it ain't gonna be. Esau the devil, the Bible speaks of, man. He went down over that ocean blowing atom bombs up. It said 6 bombs or 5 bombs for 12 years. Yeah, you the devil. And you got to pay for crimes against humanity. Messing in people's life and habitat out in that ocean up like that. That's just deplorable, man. Only demonic activity. Only a demon. Only a demon. All right. There's more to come. Faces of death is what this man is. He the faces of death. Shalom.